With Mega Evolutions right around the corner, the Scarlet and Violet era is starting to wind down. And with the Scarlet and Violet era, we had 16 sets, which is quite crazy. And some of these sets are worth $300 to $400, and some of them are worth $3,000 to $4,000, which is quite crazy. And today, we're going to be looking at the top 10 sets of the Scarlet and Violet era from a dollar value perspective. So we're going to be looking at the total value of a set, all common cards, uncommon cards, holos, illustration rares, special illustration rares, what the total value is as a master set, and then going with that as the criteria to make the top 10. Let's dive in. So for today, we're going to be using Polkadata.io to look at our data, and the first set, the number 10 set from the Scarlet and Violet era based on dollar value is the Paradox Rift set. This set is worth approximately $830.57. It's one of the only sets that's going to be under $1,000. I believe there's going to be 2 or 3 of them, but this is one of them right over here. And of course, there's going to be sets that are much lesser than this because there are 6 sets that didn't make the top 10. And Paradox Rift was actually a decent set. And you can see here, just looking at the top 5 cards here, we've got Groudon, which is actually a fantastic card over here, which is currently going for about $72. It was topped out around $90 to $100, so it's down a little bit. Most of the cards across the board here from Paradox Rift are down. It's the same thing with Altera going for $39. We've got Roaring Moon going for $38, and then Garnchomp, which is going for $27. So again, there isn't a card from this set that's worth more than $100, which is quite sad because again, Paradox Rift is a decent set, but for those sets that are going to be in the top 5 and above, you're going to see quite a few cards that are worth over $100. But currently, Paradox Rift is the number 10th set from the Scarlet and Violet era, which is unfortunate because I thought this was a decent set. Again, the Groudon is really cool, and of course there it is, making the number 1 spot out of the entirety of Paradox Rift, and it's not even a special illustration rare. That might be one of the indicators to why this set is not worth that much, because none of the special illustration rares are worth that much. Again, $39.34 for a special illustration rare for the best special illustration rare is quite low in my opinion. But we'll definitely be seeing other sets where the top card is an illustration rare, and I think we all know which sets we're talking about. But as of right now, Paradox Rift is the number 10 set from the Scarlet and Violet era. And coming in at number 9 is Twilight Masquerade, which is crazy if you want my honest opinion. Number 9, Twilight Masquerade, going for $993, just under $1,000 here for this set. And you know what? I don't agree with this. I think this set should have been closer to a top 5. This Greninja EX over here was even going for around $350 to $400 at one point, so it is at a low point at $280. And you know what? It's great that the price has come down because it gives an opportunity for those of you who are missing this card to pick it up. And again, you've got some other cards here. You've got Perrin at 92, Carmen at 69. Eevee has come down as well, going for 51, and then you've got Blood Moon Ursaluna at $37. So again, this one over here is an interesting one for me. I thought Twilight Masquerade would have been a top 5 or 6 set from the Scarlet and Violet era, but unfortunately it's not. At one point it was the number 1 set up until we had a whole bunch of other sets start to release and take over it. But here it is, Twilight Masquerade taking the number 9 spot. And in number 8 is Surging Sparks. Yes, another set that blew up right out the door, right out the gate, had some crazy prices and trickled back down. This one over here is currently going for $1,091.91. The Pikachu holding the number 1 spot at $256, with Latias right behind it at $164. And as you can see here, we're starting to see multiple cards being over that $100 mark, which is what's driving the price of these sets, because again, most of the commons and uncommons, they go from anywhere from a quarter to $1, which don't really make up much of the set. It's really your top 5 to 10 cards that make up the majority of the set here. But again, Surging Sparks, tough to see actually. I thought Surging Sparks would have also been maybe one of the top 5 sets, but unfortunately it's not. It's not one of the top 5. It is currently the number 8 set from the Scarlet and Violet era. And coming in number 7, another one that's a shocker, Pokemon 151. Based on total value, this set is only worth $1,092. This is again for a raw master set of Pokemon 151. That is the value of it here. We've got the Charizard EX here that's going for $212, which is the only card that actually crosses a $100 mark from a raw perspective. Everything else is below $70. You can see here you've got Blastoise, Venusaur, and Zapdos all below that $70 mark. And Squirtle, interestingly enough, Squirtle is the number 5 card at $45.45. I'm pretty sure that flips back and forth. Let's see here. Yeah, you got Charmander and Alakazam right behind it as well. So it's interesting to see Pokemon 151 this low in the pecking order from Scarlet and Violet, because this one was a crazy set. Looking at some of the sealed products from Pokemon 151, the prices are outrageous. They're crazy, way up there, and but the cards unfortunately are not worth as much. And that's probably because there's a lot of inventory of these cards in the market. A lot of this product was opened up, a lot of the cards are available, which brings the price, of course, of the singles down. And number 6 is Paldea Evolved, currently valued at $1,121. We knew this one was going to be there. And Magikarp, the Magikarp, is taking the number 1 spot with a $244 value here. But again, same issue we're seeing. It's one-hit wonders. Everything else is below $50 here. We've got Iono here for $49. We've got Raichu here for $46. It's really the Magikarp that's bringing the set value up here, which is insane, especially as it is a illustration rare, not a special illustration rare. And as I said earlier, it's another set that only has one card that's above that $100 mark, and that's Magikarp. So again, Paldea Evolved, a great set. Currently takes the number 6 spot based on an overall value. And I think, you know what, it kind of makes sense based on what else is out there. This should have been somewhere in the middle, around 5, 6, and again, it's at the 6th spot. Coming in the number 5 spot is Paldean Fates. This is a great set, and this set is currently valued at $1,602. So here we go. We're starting to make some movements here. $572 for this Mew. We've got the Charizard currently for $193, and then we've got Gardevoir at $89. So we've got quite a few cards here. That Mew is quite up there in price. There's a little bit of FOMO going on with that one right now, but of course, that Mew will be worth something eventually. It may even be the card of the entirety of Scarlet and Violet if it could get past that Umbreon, of course, from Prismatic Evolutions, which is going to be tough because it's already over $1,000 for that Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon, but might be the second most expensive card in the entire era. Who knows? But right now, it's currently going for $572. And the crazy part is that this card makes up a third of the entire value of Paldean Fates. So without this Mew, this card may not even have been in the top 10. So Mew is really carrying the set, and carrying it more so than the Charizard, because usually it's the Charizards that carry the sets whenever they are in them. But for this one, it is the Mew EX. Going into our top 4 now, it is Destined Rivals taking the number 4 spot at $2,000. Of course, Destined Rivals was going to make it somewhere in the top 5, and here it is in the number 4 spot. We've got Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX at $342. We've got Cynthia's Garchomp at $208. We've got Team Rocket's Moltres at $180, Ho-Oh at $153, and then we've got Team Rocket's Nidoking at $105. So everything in the top 5 here is above $100, which is what's pushing the price of this set. $2,000 for Destined Rivals, a crazy one. The Team Rocket set that everyone's been waiting for, of course, and personally, I think it deserves to be in the top 4. Destined Rivals currently takes the number 4 spot in the top 10 of the Scarlet and Violet era. And one thing I want to mention about Destined Rivals and some of the sets we're going to be seeing, all of the sets in the top 4 are relatively new, which means that there's still some room for these sets to go down in value, which may change the price of them a little bit. For example, Destined Rivals has only been out for a few months, which could be one of the drivers of why this set is still very expensive. Again, there's still a lot of this product to be opened up. The price of these cards could drop. They could drop. Again, we've seen Mewtwo go down to about $340 from around those $400 marks. But again, over time, things get a little bit more expensive, or at least the more popular things do. And I think Destined Rivals is one of those sets that will be one of the popular ones, and it will probably stay up in that top 5. Currently takes the number 4 spot. And taking the number 3 spot is Black Bolt. Again, another new set that just released a month ago. And this one over here is going for $2,828. Crazy. $800 more than Destined Rivals. I don't agree with that. Again, that's a personal opinion. I don't personally agree with it. We've got Victini at $432, and then we've got Zekrom at $408. These are the monochrome cards that, you know, I'm not crazy interested in, but I know there's a lot of people that are actually into it. And then we've got the special illustration rare, Zekrom at $208, and then we've got Seismitoad at $180. So again, we've got 4 out of the 5 cards above that 100 mark, and 3 of them above the 200, with 2 of them being above 400, which is crazy, which is what's essentially driving the price of the set, taking it up to $2,800 and making it the number 3 set. And if Black Bolt is number 3, that can only mean one thing. White Flare is number 2 at $2,968, a tad bit higher than Black Bolt. I thought it would have been the other way around, honestly. I thought Black Bolt was going to be the more popular set, but it turns out that White Flare is the one that's kind of holding down that price right now based on a singles perspective overall from a master set. For $471 for the Victini from White Flare, so again, a tad bit more expensive for the Victini for the essentially the same card. And then you've got Reshiram EX at $429, and then the Reshiram EX SIR going for $206. So interestingly enough, you've only got 3 out of the top 5 being above that 200 mark. But generally speaking, the set is valued a little bit more than Black Bolt. And we'll see what happens over the next few months. I think these sets will come down, White Flare and Black Bolt. They're a little bit pricey right now. And I think, sets like Destined Rivals are personally better, in my opinion. But I think the monochrome cards are what's really holding the price up of these sets. And taking the number 1 spot is Prismatic Evolutions. And I think we all knew that was going to happen here. Personally, I knew that Prismatic Evolutions was going to be number 1. I didn't know what number 2, 3, and 4 was going to be. But now we know what it is. And Umbreon EX is of course what's putting the price of this up here. And the total value of this set is $4,268. So completely blowing the rest of the competition out of the water here. $845 for the Umbreon, $290 for Sylveon, $214 for Leafeon, Vaporeon at $207, and Espeon at $206. So really it's the Umbreon EX that's pushing the envelope here at $845. This is probably going to become a super expensive card at one point, this Umbreon EX. Thankfully, it's not higher than the Moonbreon, but I can see it reaching those prices at one point over time once, of course, Prismatic Evolutions gets a little bit older, because Prismatic Evolutions is still relatively new. I mean, the set only came out this year. So for a set that's only for a set that's less than a year old, it's crazy to see that the prices are like this. As all of us know, Evolving Skies wasn't even Evolving Skies when it first came out. So in reality, with time, Prismatic Evolutions will probably be worth even more than what it is currently, the $4,200 mark, and will probably stay in the number 1 spot from the entirety of Scarlet and Violet era based on what we're seeing here. Of course, the evolution cards taking over this set, which is what really drives the price of this. The rest of it is whatever, in my honest opinion, but the evolutions are really nice looking cards. If you like the whole rainbow concept and the artwork of these cards, this one is right up your alley. Personally, for me, I think Evolving Skies is a better set than Prismatic Evolutions. But again, that's just my opinion. Point of this is Prismatic Evolutions takes the number 1 spot based on the total value of a set at $4,268. So that was a quick look at the top 10 sets of the Scarlet and Violet era based on the value of the overall set from a master set perspective. Some of the sets such as Journey Together and Stellar Crown did not make the top 10, and that's also due to the overall size of the set. Some of the sets don't have that many special illustration or illustration rare cards within them, which also brings the value of them down. So again, that doesn't mean that Journey Together or Stellar Crown are not great sets. Just based on a value perspective, they're not worth as much because they may have less cards. And of course, there's the other avenue of the pull rates, the interest in the set overall. Again, they did not make the cut for this. For me, I'm happy to see that Destined Rivals is in the top 4. Of course, we knew that Prismatic Evolutions was going to be number 1, but the White Flare and Black Bolt sets taking the number 2 and 3 spots, I think is a little bit interesting, and we'll probably see those sets dip down in value as time passes. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this and where you think these sets will rank in the next year. And if you guys got this far in the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. My name's TRV. You guys are the greatest. We'll see you next time.